Do you ever feel like you don't want to do anything? Chances are you probably have 100 things you're supposed to do every day that you are not really motivated for. Do you really want to do another assignment, fold those shirts, or write more boring expense reports? Not many do. It can be tedious and unlikable. But then you've probably noticed those people who seem to be doing everything all the time. People who always turn in their homework on time, exercise regularly every day, and are always early to the office. How do they do it? And more importantly, how can you get there too? At the most basic level, motivation is a neurochemical process, closely tied to the neurotransmitter dopamine. Dopamine helps motivation by making the brain crave rewarding experiences, making you work harder to achieve goals. It can be hard to motivate oneself to take on major projects, or even moderate ones, when one's dopamine is low. It's like trying to bake a cake with only a teaspoon of flour. So how do you trigger dopamine? Anticipating rewards is usually how it happens. Look at the people who are highly motivated. Chances are, their brain is getting a release of dopamine when they think about the rewards they'll get for accomplishing a task. It could be getting a good grade, eating a tasty meal, or getting praised at work. Thinking about all this would help them perform tasks with high motivation.
A big way is exercise. Yeah, before you say, well, I'm not motivated to exercise, psychologists say that it will stimulate you by releasing chemicals in your brain and give you a little bump neurologically that will help you get through the hurdles of motivation. So if you can get through doing this one thing when you don't feel like it, it will help you be more motivated for the other things ahead. Keep doing this until a cycle develops and you'll start being motivated on your own. Exercise can be a neurological kickstart. It forces your brain to cooperate when you are struggling on your own. But if you find that you simply can't shake it, despite all your best efforts, you still can't do anything. You could be struggling with something physical or psychological, so be sure you seek out a professional. Another thing psychologists recommend is that you should just do what you are able to do. Set modest, achievable goals rather than aiming for the stars, with the understanding that achieving even the smallest goals will improve your overall flow of dopamine and give you motivation to take on a more ambitious goal. When you've only got a teaspoon of flour, at least you can bake a tiny cake. For example, if you don't have the motivation to play piano for a full half hour, do you think you could play for just 2 minutes? Try sitting down at the piano, set a timer for 2 minutes, and play. When the timer goes off, you can stop if you want to. No shame, no embarrassment, because you set a goal and achieved it. But if you feel like continuing to play, that's fine too. This is what psychologists call behavioral activation.
Sometimes, due to a lack of insight, we're not able to make the connection between our actions and our goal. The 16 Basic Desires theory by Stephen Rice shows us that there are 16 basic desires that drive each of us to different degrees: acceptance, curiosity, eating, family, and so on. By learning about these basic desires and identifying which are important to the people around you, you might get a better idea of what's motivating them. For example, a person might want money because money is power, but another person might want money because it gives them security. Understanding what motivates you can lead to insight into yourself and give you options about what actions you should be taking to achieve that goal. Set up your environment to get started. Motivation happens mid-task, which is why it is usually so difficult to get started. Disciplined people seem motivated because they force themselves to start and manage distractions by working in suitable settings. Additionally, psychologists recommend motivational interviewing as a great tool that not only clinicians can use, but something we can use for ourselves as well as our friends and family. This helps us see how we're truly feeling and make behavioral changes. It lets us explore and resolve ambivalence, solidify personal motivation, and develop individualized plans for change. Think of motivation as a cat. It won't come to you if you're desperate for it.
You have to sit still for a short while, pretend like you don't actually need it, and only then will come over to you. In other words, you need to find acceptance. You need to understand that the motivation to change things only happens once you come to accept the way things are. It might seem conflicting. How do you accept yourself and then make a change? It makes perfect sense once you realize that the most productive people out there aren't motivated because they dislike themselves and want to change. They feel complete as they are, yet they try to work to make themselves and the world better. In psychology, mindfulness is paying attention to your thoughts and feelings in the present moment. Use it to understand yourself, accept yourself, and then see how you can enhance yourself even further. You can cultivate motivation just like a plant. You need to gently place the seed in the right soil, give it some nutrients and water, but then it needs time to extend its roots, which you won't see for a while, and finally bring you fruit. You can't force it. You can't make it grow faster. Too much sun and it burns, too much water and it drowns. So let it be. Allow time to pass. Take the time to explore and care for yourself. Be compassionate with yourself when you slip up. Remember, your mind is still programmed to believe it can survive best through quick and easy fixes. It'll take time, a bit of effort, and some good defenses, but you will be able to rewire this programming and become a motivated individual. If your lack of motivation comes from being scared of not being good at a task, then you need to hear this. Spending so long wishing you had certain skills and not actually doing anything about it means you're just wasting your time. Once you realize that, why not spend your time just simply doing something, no matter how well you do it? It's important to realize that most people who are successful are not better than you. They're just doing whatever it is they're doing while you're not taking action. This requires breaking your own mental barriers to motivation, but that is something you can do. You don't have to dedicate yourself to anything, but you can make massive life improvements by just asking yourself, what else could I be doing? 10 or 15 minutes a day might not seem like much, but after 6 months, you'll suddenly have accomplished something major. Remember, motivation isn't magic. It's just tiny steps and tiny wins that add up to big things. So pick one little thing from this video, try it today, and your future self will be like, wow, look at us go.
If you found this helpful, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos on brain-friendly breakdowns that make life a little easier and a lot more fun. Drop a comment telling us what you thought. See you in the next video.